back my house to go up to the master. And so I was wondering if you had like a sign that says welcome back. I can make my own, but I didn't know if you had one.
On some of the marquees, it says welcome back.
Okay.
It shows all kinds of restrictions you'll make.
Uh-huh.
And some schools actually have some things out.
I just made something put out there.
Each school did a little something different for their celebration back to school. Like the Masters had a big celebration with the Capital organization out there. We're on all the kids back to school.
Okay.
Gibson has big some presentation letters of what kids back to school from their school. So I feel like they do something different.
Yeah.
There was one school, I believe, Coke maybe that had been more fun. Partners.
Oh, okay.
You remember about the first 4, 5, 6 years.
Mhm.
Huge celebration.
Right,
Pre-COVID.
Yeah,
Music, parties.
right.
I've got 7:00 p.m. Ismo, you're muted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, calling the meeting to order. We do have a quorum this evening. May I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. We're ready for the question. Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Announcements. Are there any announcements, Ms. Oswald?
Other than welcome back to school.
Okay. Ms. Morreal?
I have no announcement.
I have no announcements. Ms. King, are there any patrons who wish to speak to the board?
No, there isn't.
There are none. Then we will go to the superintendent's report. Dr. Spurgeon?
Yeah, we just started school on Monday. Today was our second day. I once again assigned each of our district administrators out to a facility. They go to, we all start at the high school in the morning at 7, and then they go to either an elementary school from there, and then on to their feeder middle school. We had meetings yesterday and today at 1 o'clock to get feedback for any challenges and or any positive things that were occurring at schools. I want to say thank you to all of our faculty and staff, administrators, and everyone for making the first day and second day a very smooth start to school. We have typical things that happen, like new families that show up that have to enroll, and so the lines kind of back up. We have transportation. It seems like there were a lot more parents that drove their students to school this year versus any other year, and so we've had some transportation backups in places around the school district in the area. A couple things I want to talk about. The first thing is I'm going to let Dr. Singleton talk a little bit about transportation. We've had some delays. He's going to talk a little bit about first student, and then he's also going to talk a little bit about what was the second thing, Dr. Singleton? There were two things: transportation and
Air conditioning.
yeah, and HVAC issues. So if you want to take that off and talk just a little bit, give up the SAB a brief update on where we're at on those two areas.
Sure. Good evening to the Special Administrative Board, community colleagues, and stakeholders. So as Dr. Spurgeon was mentioning, we've had some typical, the typical hiccups for the first start of school. So we've had a few issues with transportation. First student is experiencing a driver shortage. There's a bus driver shortage nationwide. It's not just unique to first student. And so we've got new drivers. Sometimes the drivers are taking a little bit longer to run the routes because they're not as familiar with the routes as some of the newer, some of the older, more veteran drivers. So we've seen some route delays. We've also seen parents have not all received their bus letters, and I know they're working at the school levels to get those bus letters out to parents. Also, we've got an influx of new students that have registered this week, and so we're working to get them on a route. So we'll be getting new bus letters out, hopefully the end of this week, so that Monday starts a new bus cycle. The other piece related to, other than transportation, that Dr. Spurgeon wanted me to mention is air conditioning. I've spoken with Ms. Green, and I visited just about all of the schools, and we've got some rooms in just about every building that the AC units are not working properly. Some of it is related to the huge storm that we had just the other day. It knocked power out in some of the areas around Coke and Westview. So we've had some power outages, but we've also had some air conditioning parts in which the parts have just been on back order for quite some time now. And so we do have several HVAC issues going on in the district, and we are working expeditiously to try to get those issues resolved in a timely manner. So just wanted to give you all an update on just a few of the transportation and HVAC concerns that have been brought to my attention over the last couple of days. Thank you.
And I just want to make sure that each of the 3 SAB members were fully aware of kind of what we're dealing with. So in case you got phone calls, you were aware that we know that those problems exist or challenges exist, and we're working to address those. I've probably been in no less than 40 classrooms over the last couple of days. Been very, very impressed with the work that's going on in our classrooms with our professional staff from all our special areas, drawing portraits of themselves in kindergarten, to our classroom teachers setting up proper classroom procedures and rules and how we do things in the classroom, to having the students draw and tell about their summer vacation and a little bit about themselves. I even saw one classroom today that was already working on word webs and story webs, working with our scholars. So very, very impressed with how everybody's adapting and adjusting to this COVID situation, and couldn't be more proud of everybody pulling their weight and doing the best they could to get things off to a good start. So with that being said, Dr. Patton, if you want to talk just briefly about the update on enrollment and the process you'll be doing to collect those live body counts over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, I will. Good evening, SAB members, colleagues, Dr. Spurgeon, and stakeholders. I am presenting tonight our current attendance, and we have a spreadsheet that the building principals will complete every day. They're sending in the count of students who are actually in their classrooms on a daily basis. So as of today, we have 3,974 students enrolled in our schools. That breaks down, we have 500 at Central, we have 361 at Westview, 972 at the high school. That includes both the high school as well as our ACE program. And the remaining number is a makeup of our elementary building. We are continuing to reach out to our parents to enroll their students. We have sent out emails, websites, flyers, the electronic board. We've placed yard signs out around the community. We're using social media as well as incentives. So we have one of our partners who donated $25 gift cards. We are drawing 12 names randomly of families who have enrolled, and we are handing out $25 gift cards as a means to add some incentives to getting our students enrolled. So that is the number as of today, 3,974. We are anticipating about 5,600 students that will enroll. That is a combination of our students from last year as well as new families who have enrolled in our school district. So that is our count as of today. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald? Sorry, Ms. Oswald?
No questions.
Ms. Morrill?
Do you have students that still want to be virtual?
Yes, Ms. Morrill, we do have students. We have approximately 50 students, a little bit over 50 students who are enrolled in our MOCAP and launch programs. They are wanting to be virtual. We did have a win today because I was at Danforth, and one of the students' parents dropped them off accidentally and came back to get him, and the young man wanted to stay and started crying. And so the mother took him out of MOCAP and put him in in-person learning. So right now we have a little bit over 50 of our scholars who are enrolled in MOCAP and our launch programs.
And Ms. Marreal, I talked to Ms. Tina Adams-Turvey today, and we had about 92 or 93 original that wanted to sign up for MOCAP, and that number's down to about 52 or 53 students. And so we think that at some point in time, some of those may also come back. Keep in mind that MOCAP is the state piece, but they can also enroll in launch. And even though we'd like to have them face to face, the one positive about being online is that each class that they complete they're guaranteed 94% attendance in that course in which they complete. And so it's a positive for the district's sake, but it would be nice, as a parent's choice, they can choose to be in MOCAP or they can choose to be online. We'd like to see them online in person, but that's their choice.
Does that complete your report?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No problem. No questions, I'm sorry. We're now down to our information item, Prop R. I've got Dr. Singleton and Ms. Green.
Good evening. Ishmael, can you pull up the PowerPoint?
Let's see.
Let's see if I can share.
Share
That's
has
the
it there.
budget, the other one. That's the budget piece. I don't know. I'm having some.
It's up.
Okay.
Mhm.
Good evening, Special Administration Board, Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues, community. Just giving you some information on our Prop R projects and where we are to date. We have completed these projects from rooftop units to flooring to band. Can we go down? Let me see. Can we go down, Ishmael? I cannot. Keep going. So we've also completed parking lots, fire alarms, roofs at the high school, buildings 2 and building 9. Can you continue to go? Continue to go. Continue to go. So our current active projects, we still in our phase 2 of HVAC. We have HVAC controls upgrade that's happening now. We're about 90% complete. We have the next board meeting. I plan to share with you all the rebates and incentives that we've received thus far from Ameren because we're doing these control upgrades. So I should have that for you probably next month, the total amount. Continue. School-based help center, we're about 15%. We're still working on the MOU with BJC and Rhodey Construction. So we're about 15% complete there. We are getting some drawings looked at and getting permits set up and ready to go once we receive that MOU. We have roof repairs and replacements at LeMasters. We're 60%. That contractor is 100% WBE. Roof repairs and replacement at Central Middle School. We're about 60% there. Have 0% participation. We're having our district-wide security camera upgrade that has not started as of yet. They are ordering cameras, and that's 100% MBE. These are the categories and where we are with what we promised the voters that we would be doing with how we would use Prop R fundings. And so this gives you a bird's eye view of where we are with that. So our summary, we have 29 projects that were approved by the board. 24 of them are complete. 5 projects that are ongoing. We've had 1 change order. To date, we have a total of 34% MBE, 8% WBE. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald, I'm sorry, I want to go to Ms. Morrill first.
Yeah, I have no question.
Ms. Oswald?
I have no question.
Okay. Ms. Green, I thought I saw in that budget, what percentage of the money remains? Prop R?
Percentage-wise, Craig Lucas,
Or give me the amount, give me the amount.
we have about $222,000 remaining.
I want to say to the board, to have only 1 change order out of this whole project is just excellent. Most times there are many more. And I'm also impressed with the MBE participate in the project? I think you said 30-something percent?
34.
34. No other questions?
Thank you.
We're now down to our discussion items, curriculum status update. I have Ms. Ross, but I also saw 46 attachments. So I'm assuming those attachments were just for our edification and you're not going to go through each one.
That's correct, Dr. Beckwith.
Okay. Go
Good
ahead.
evening. Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues, and the school community. Tonight, I am here to offer the curriculum status as of the 2021-2022 school year. Our curriculum is constantly under revision. We have adopted the Understanding by Design curriculum framework, which consists of 3 stages. Stage 1, which are desired results. For the most part, they include our content standards and curriculum expectations. Stage 2 includes the evidence of learning, which comprises of performance-based assessments and formatives. The last stage is the learning experiences, which are aligned specifically to the instructional planning. The current status of the curriculum, we had to do some aggressive revisions due to our response to the learning loss as a result of COVID. The curriculum writing team and the instructional coaches made efforts to revise the priority standards to maximize student learning. In addition, we took heed to the DESE's recommendation to accelerate the learning as opposed to remediating, which led to discussions and revision of our scope and sequence, our pacing guides, and our evidence-based strategies. I have provided for you a copy of the priority standards for ELA and math, which also includes revisions recommended by the state's priority standards. Over the summer, our related arts programs, which include K through 12 music, PE and health, also K through 12. Unfortunately, we didn't have any visual arts writers, but these writers were involved in writing, developing stage 1 of the curriculum, which I have provided those documents tonight for your viewing. Our justification is always to teach from the Missouri Learning Standards. So it is recommended that the SAB approve the revisions for visual arts, include the revisions for PE and health and music, in addition to the priority standards for ELA and math. Are there any questions?
Ms. Morrill?
I have none.
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
I have no questions. Thank you, Ms. Ross. I think you have the next item also, curriculum development.
Yes, sir. Being that we did not have any visual arts, any teachers to help create and develop the visual arts curriculum, we would like to extend that invitation so that we can get the visual arts curriculum written, as well as grades 6 through 8, PE and health. And so we are looking to get my exact amount. We are looking to have budgeted from the professional development 1% in the amount not to exceed $5,360 to continue our partnership with JTI and Associates. It is recommended that the board approves the curriculum development for the visual arts and 6 through 8 PE and health programs. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Ms. Morrill?
No questions.
I have no questions, Ms. Ross. Thank you.
Thank you.
Formative Solutions, Dr. Kennedy.
Yes, good evening, SAB board members, colleagues, and community. Tonight, I'm proposing the funding of a digital platform called Formative. Formative will allow our district to upload and administer the common formative assessments that are currently being developed. Once the CFAs, the common formative assessments, is administered to our scholars, we will be able to assess where our scholars are in relation to mastering the Missouri Learning Standards, assess on the MAP and the EOC. The formative platform will allow teachers and administrators across the district the opportunity to collaborate and discuss how we can meet the needs of our scholars. It also allows students the opportunity to track their progress and how they are doing in meeting their goals in relation to each standard. The formative staff will provide professional developments for administrators and teachers in 3 different phases. In addition, the formative staff is available for on-demand professional development when and if needed. Professional development will be ongoing as teachers meet in their professional learning communities and data teams. The professional development will surround analyzing data and discussion of instructional strategies being used to teach the standards. I'm making the recommendation that the SAB approve the purchase of the formative platform at the cost of $24,720. It will be originally purchased out of the 1% professional development funds and later reimbursed through the ESSER funds. Are there any questions?
Ms. Morrow?
The question that I have regarding this is this system one that in the event, since we're under COVID, that the teachers could use this to share with the parents to, to take place of them coming to find out how their students are doing?
There is a communication piece. So there's a couple of different components of that where there's a team functionality, but what you're talking about is the classroom functionality. And so that part of it will be able to be shared with parents, and parents can actually, when their scholar logs on, they can see the progress of their scholar.
Right.
Ms. Oswald?
That was my question.
Okay. I have no questions. Thank you, Dr. Kennedy. Item D, Education Plus Learning Credits 2021, 2022. Ms. Sharp?
Yes, good evening to the Special Administrative Board, Superintendent Spurgeon, colleagues, and community. Tonight, I am presenting the Education Plus Learning Credits for the 2021-2022 school year. This is for discussion. So this is a continuation each year because we are a member school district. We have an opportunity to acquire additional discounts on professional development. And so a total amount of discounts from any PD that occurs through Education Plus could equal up to 40%, and in some cases even higher. So tonight I am recommending that the Special Administrative Board engage in discussion. This says a recommendation will occur on the 17th of August. Obviously, that is an error. It should be tonight, the 24th of August. This is regarding the continuation of the Education Plus learning credits in an amount not to exceed $9,940. And that is budgeted and would be taken from the PD 1% funds. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald?
No.
Ms. Morrow?
No questions.
I have no questions. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. I believe you have the next item, a model teaching proposal.
That is correct. Again, thank you for this opportunity. Tonight, I would like to present the model teaching. It is a sole source provider. It provides an opportunity for additional professional development for staff. This is an online platform. Some of the content that's included are listed there for you, such as classroom management behaviors. There's PD for English teachers who engage in working with supporting students, ELL, working in gifted and talented, and the list goes on and on. This is an opportunity, especially as we continue to educate during a COVID environment. It certainly gives us an opportunity to continue to provide additional choices for staff. So tonight, this recommendation is for an amount not to exceed $29,850. This would initially be taken from the PD 1% fund with possible reimbursements from ESSER 3. So I'm requesting discussion occur tonight, and that at the next board meeting that the Special Administrative Board would grant consent. Are there any questions?
Ms. Marreal,
I have none.
Ms. Oswald,
Is this also a situation where we keep track of who's checking which courses or participating in which information?
Yes, that is true. So we're able to keep track of it in two ways. Number one, through the model teaching component, but also through Kickup. So people would be able to pre-register for those courses, and then we would be able to check attendance by checking in that regard. I would be counting on additional support from building leaders as they are going in looking to see where teachers are engaged in the process. There are some that are self-paced, but there are some that would be an opportunity for staff to be engaged with one-on-one. So it kind of varies, but we do have an opportunity to check the status.
Ms. Sharp, send the board via email the total amount that's budgeted in professional development this year and what the required 75% would equal. Spend out.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Federal programs, Glasgow Ingenuity Program, Ms. Curtis.
Good evening, SAB, Superintendent, colleagues, and community. Tonight, I bring one of two items. The first is a request for Glasgow to continue use of the Annuity platform in the 21-22 school year. This was an excellent benefit to our scholars in the prior year, being supported by long-term substitute teachers, and is also available outside of schools and is once again available to all students K through 5. This is a virtual platform to be used in person for small groups and is available at home if need be, all supporting individualized instruction in ELA and math. The cost is not to exceed $7,000 to be paid with title federal funds. At this time, Glasgow is requesting approval for the Annuity platform to be paid with federal funds in the amount not to exceed $7,000. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald?
No questions.
Ms. Marreal?
No questions.
I have no questions. Your next item is extended day programming, professional development.
Yes, sir. The second item is a request for certified Glasgow staff to provide extended learning activities for students in the areas of math, ELA, and science, and extended learning for students before and or after school for 20 staff at $25 an hour for no more than 60 hours to begin in August of 2021 and end in June of 2022. And extra duty pay for professional development for 14 staff at $25 an hour for 25 hours each to begin in August 2021 and end in June of 2022. All names have been provided to Human Resources for approval for a total amount not to exceed $59,750, and that is inclusive of benefits. At this time, Glasgow is requesting approval for staff participation in extra duty pay, extended learning activities, and professional development to be paid with federal funds in an amount not to exceed $59,750, which is also inclusive of benefits. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Ms. Marreal?
No questions.
No questions, but a comment, Ms. Curtis.
Yes, sir.
In the last couple of years, quite a bit of money has been spent on professional development at Glasgow Elementary. It is my hope that there will be some correlation between the expenditures and the improvement in academic achievement at Glasgow.
Yes, sir.
All righty, just a
All right.
statement. Moving on, Students in Transition Transportation for 2021-2022, Dr. Patton.
Good evening again, SAB members, colleagues, and stakeholders. In order to meet the needs of our displaced students and the requirements of the consent decree and the McKinney-Vento guidelines, we are required to provide transportation to all students who are in transition and registered within the Riverview Gardens School District. These transportation methods are specific to students who live outside of the Riverview Gardens boundaries, but are still enrolled within our school district. The students who live within our boundaries are provided transportation with First Student. To that end, it is recommended that the SAB approve the methods of transportation for students in transition not to exceed the budgeted amount of $500,000 with EMT, which is one of the transportation providers, as well as Metropolitan Taxi Cab Corporation. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Ms. Morrill?
I just wanted to state that I believe that we use taxi cabs and EMT before.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you check back to find out the success? Because I think we had some problems with pickups in some instances with students, especially with EMT and then with the with cabs. So can you check into this to see what has changed that we would try to use them again?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Morrill. I will check into that. When our students returned last March, we had approximately 200 to 300 students in transition that were in attendance, and we used cab services, the majority of that. And then we used a few EMT. We only had a couple of instances where students were not picked up, but we are dealing with our larger community now. We're dealing with all of our students.
Right.
So we may see issues then. So Ms. Morrill, I will look into that and I will inform the SAB.
The other question that I had was at one time, and I'm trying to remember where I heard of that, and I don't think the district was in Missouri, but there was a district that actually provided for their high school students bus passes, like monthly bus passes for the high school students. And I didn't know if that was an option that we could consider as well.
Yes, ma'am. That is part of the budget. If we want to provide bus passes, we can. That is probably more of a secondary option, Ms. Morrill, because we have an obligation to ensure that these students are in our buildings and we are providing them with transportation. But that the bus passes is a part of that budgeted amount.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Patton, how much is budgeted for this transportation?
Currently, sir, there's $500,000 budgeted.
Okay, thank you. No
Dr.
other
Beckwith,
questions?
I have two questions, sir. So Dr. Patton, one of the things I want you to check in on, when I did a round today for the release of the high school, do we pay the cabs by the ride or by the hour? And the reason I'm asking that is I don't know what time they're showing up, but there were some sitting across from the high school in the church parking lot. And I don't know what time they're showing up, but if we're paying them by the hour, if they're getting there at 2 o'clock or 2:10, that meter's running before our kids actually get out of school. So check on that for me. And then Ms. Morrill, we have provided bus passes to the A students for several years since I've been here, which was given to us by the RBC and other entities to be able to provide the A students transportation to and from A.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Patton. Go on to the School-Based Health Center.
Yes, sir. A lot of our students within our communities and minority populations are less likely to have access to health care and more likely to experience poor health and miss more days of school due to that. RGSD has previously had an MOU with CareSTL, and in partnership with CareSTL, we continue to provide acute medical care and behavioral health care to scholars within the Riverview Gardens School District. CareSTL continues to partner with us to provide those services in our school-based health center, which is located at Riverview Gardens High School. To that end, it is recommended that the SAB approve this MOU between CareSTL and the Riverview Gardens School District to continue to provide health services to scholars at no cost to families or to our school district.
Ms. Morrill?
No questions.
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Dr. Patton, you took my question away when I wanted to ask, why was this not budgeted? But I just heard the no cost, which is always music to my ears.
I
Thank you.
understand.
Project Construct, Dr. Meeks Williams.
Hey, Dr. Beckwith, I
Yes.
have one more. It is the retroactive.
You're
CARES
correct. You're correct. I missed
retroactive.
that one. Sorry.
That's okay. In response to COVID-19 in the spring of 2020, we reached out to our partners at CareSTL and we asked them to provide COVID testing for the employees of Riverview Garden School District. At that time, there should have been an MOU, but that MOU was never presented to the SAB. And so CareSTL reached out to me asking if we could do this retroactively. So I am submitting this MOU for the COVID testing that was provided to our community, actually to our employees in the spring of 2020. So it's recommended that the SAB approve this retroactive MOU for CareSTL, and this again was at no cost to our school district. Are there any questions?
Ms. Oswald,
No question.
Ms. Morreale.
No questions.
Dr. Patton, I'm assuming this will be on the agenda, the consent agenda for our next meeting?
Yes, sir, it will be. It is now in legal review, so we should have it back by then and it will be on the consent agenda.
Okay. That ends your items.
Yes, sir.
Our last information, a discussion item, Project Construct Training, Dr. Meeks Williams.
Good evening, Special Administrative Board, Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues and community. Thank you for this opportunity tonight. I'm presenting an item for discussion that will assure the early childhood teachers are highly qualified and that our scholars will continue to engage in meaningful and hands-on learning. There are 5 DESE approved early childhood curriculums, and our center has chosen the Project Construct framework to be our focus. This helps us to prepare the child as the whole child. This training will provide the teachers with a customized training that will refresh the teachers on child development, constructivist theory, current brain research, autonomy, and creating the learning environment. Project Construct will deliver the training during our 2021-22 professional development days, September 24th and November 1st. I believe is that a date correction? Yes, because I had August 17th. Apologize for that. Those times will be 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. These professional development hours are needed to comply with our licensing and our accreditation clock hours. All early childhood staff need a total of 18 clock hours to remain in compliance with our accreditation. The request is budgeted. The dollar amount is $7,955.64. The budget source for the teachers is coming from the PD 1% of $2,750. And for the instructional assistants, it's coming from other professional services, $1,950. And the salaries for the instructional assistants will come from the classified salaries regular account of $3,255.64. It is recommended that discussion and subsequent approval be granted for Project Construct training for Michelle Obama Early Childhood Academic Center staff, not to exceed $7,955.64. Thank you.
Ms. Oswald, any questions?
No.
Ms. Morreale?
No questions.
Okay. I noticed you said, Dr. Meeks Williams, discussion and subsequent approval. Are you saying approval at the next open session? Because I don't see it on the action item tonight.
Yes, that'll be fine as long as that's time enough for us to, yes, have the training on the 24th. Will that give us time for that?
Who are you asking?
Will that give us time to get approval at the next board meeting to have the training on the 24th?
Of September?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
We'll have.
Yes, we can have the action item then.
Okay.
Thank you.
But it's your responsibility to have it put on for an action item or on the consent agenda. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
We're now down to the approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ready for the question? Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. One action item is students in transition, transportation. You've heard Dr. Patton's recommendation. May I have a motion for approval?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ready for the question? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion passes. That ends our agenda this evening. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ready for the question? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
It is pouring down outside.
Hmm?
I thought that it wasn't supposed to rain. It is pouring down.
Oh, I thought I heard thunder.
It is, and I got my windows cracked.